Hey everyone, what's up? It's Finch here. We're back with some interesting content here between Typhlosion48 and Raiza for the qualifiers for Smogon Tour playoffs. This is a tiebreak match, so both these players tied at 36 points, which is very high, but actually was only unfortunately good enough for the 16 seed this time around because the season was really inflated with point totals due to Corona making tournaments bigger and a lot of great competition being involved. So both these guys were just on the brink of qualification, but didn't quite make the top 16 outright. So they were tied for 16th place, and a winner is going to be thrown into a matchup with Empo, who broke Blue's record and scored 78 points this season. So obviously, it's not an ideal circumstance for either of these players, but just to make it into the field, they're going to have to win this series to begin with. So definitely some exciting content. I'm in the edge of my seat for this one for sure. Um, anyway, um, looking at the teams here, Rise has got a bit of an interesting sand team. It's got Hippowdon, Excadrill, Ryu Nicholas, which you don't see a ton nowadays, Clefable, Hydreigon, and Ferrothorn. On the other side, Typhlosion08 has Clefable, Corviknight, Gengar, Hydreigon, Seismitoad, and Rotom Heat. Um, a bit more of a standard team from Typhlosion08, but I'm expecting it to be a Wisp plus Hex Gengar. Yeah, I'm expecting Wisp Hex Gengar. Probably gonna be Scarf Hydreigon if I had to guess. It could, in theory, be a Scarf Gengar, but I'm not really too fond of that set in all honesty. Um, I'm just trying to think here. Well, we're gonna see lead Ryu Nicholas. It could be a Combine variant. It could also be like a Regenerator, Assault Vest type of variant with Future Sight. I've seen that a bit on the ladder lately, and I know European players tend to like it as well. So it's interesting. But with that said, it's kind of hard to detect from right now. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a spin drill, just its only form of removal. As for the other moves, it could in theory be Swords Dance, Earthquake, Iron Head. Earthquake and Iron Head are surely on the set. Other options are Toxic and Rock Slide. I'm not too sure which it could be in this team. In all honesty, I don't think Rock Slide would make a ton of sense. But Toxic would make some sense to try and triple opposing Hippowdon and Seismitoad, I suppose. It's just that you have Ferrothorn on your own Hippo, and potentially Reuniclus take advantage of them, so I'm not too sure about that. It's going to knock off an Assault Vest, so it is in fact Assault Vest. And the Reuniclus is going to knock off the Clefable as well, so that's interesting. Both are going to be using knockoff turn one. Um, Seeing as this is Assault Vest, it should be able to soft check things like Rotom Heat. So now I'm more inclined to believe it's a Swords Dance variant of the Excadrill. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Hmm. Because the main thing is sorry, I just like got out of bed honestly, so I'm a little slow here. But basically, if it was Assault Vest, if it's Assault Vest, then it's kind of okay against special attackers like Rotom Heat, or even checking like Dragapult in a pinch if you need to, just to like come in on Draco, for example. If you got Hydreigon in or Hippowdon in. And on top of that, it's also great against things like Primarina. If it's got Side Shock, Subcommand Primarina, you can keep that in check, and Subcommand Keldeo, you could easily keep in check. So that's really cool. Um, so because you keep all those special things in check, I'm more inclined to believe that it could be not a Scarf Hydreigon, maybe like a Nasty Plot Life Orb Hydreigon, or it could be a Swords Dance Drill, more focused on sweeping than is like Revenge Killing and crippling other things. Especially since this Reuniclus is really good at knocking off things like, let's go with Seismitoad, or obviously Clefable. So yeah, I feel like it opens up really nicely for a dual sweeping core of Excadrill and Hydreigon, but the fourth move on drill can really be a number of things. Anyway, looks like a pretty lucky start here for Raiza as he's going to dodge the Thunder Wave as he goes for Future Sight turn 2, and then Clefable's going to go for Knock as Psyche gets a special defense drop, which basically means he could force out the Clefable as it doesn't want to take a boosted Future Sight. So Clefable is now left at 65% knocked, and the Corviknight came in on a knock, as Rats predicted that, and Future Sight knocks it down to 68%. So now, not only are two things knocked off, and the Reno's just regenerate off health, but also both things are crippled. Corviknight and Clefable, of course, both have recovery, But the Corviknight is only going to have one turn to recover here with Roost. And if that happens on a Focus Blast, then it could do well over half. However, Raiza is going to retreat, perhaps indicating he doesn't have it, and Typhlosion might respect that possibility of Focus Blast and just U-turn here. As U-turns into Ferrothorn, takes chip, so he now he's only get 56%. But this is going to allow for the Rotom Heat or the Hydreigon to come on in. I'm assuming the Rotom Heat's going to come on in here against that Ferrothorn. Um, hmm. Bit hard to say what Rise's immediate response will be with the Reuniclus if can take some chip. He could potentially go hard Hydreigon on the Rotom Heat. The issue is that risks taking a Discharge Para or even a Toxic, so that's not great. Toxic in general is pretty free here from Typhlosion if he doesn't expect a Clefable to come in. Toxic and Clefable would be quite bad though, because then you can't Discharge Paralyze it. I'm not really sure it's toxic, but I think it would make a lot of sense being toxic when you have wish support if you don't need pain split. You really want to cripple things like Seismitoad so Hex Gengar can go in. And also toxic is great for checking other Rotom Heat without wasting your entire Seismitoad, which could potentially be problematic if you're facing things like Rotom Heat plus Dracovish or Rotom Heat plus Zeraora in a Zeraora lacks Grass Knot, for instance. Although those teams tend to run a lot more Grass Knot than not nowadays, so but also this could help quite a bit with a bulk up Zero Aura as well, as if you're like -2 and the Zero Aura comes in and tries to set up on you, then all of a sudden you don't have to Nasty Plot a couple times just to do a lot of damage with Overheat, but you could just get Toxic off. Ferrothorn is going to come on out and be forced out by the Rotom, as Typhlosion makes a great play in Double Cyclo Fable, which should be out of Flash Cannon range, even if it's a modest Flash Cannon. It's going to be Soft Pilot Clef, it's not Wish Clef, which makes a lot of sense with Noctis Thunderwave. So the last move is almost definitely going to be Moonblast, so it's a bit of a utility Clef. I'm wondering if that means that he could be Scarfless on this team. I think it's still Scarf Hydreigon though. I think it's just nice to have another status inducer with that Gengar set. He's going to go Hydreigon on the future site, and seeing as this was Assault Vest, it would live any hit from Hydreigon. However, I think it still comfortably lives a Dark Pulse from 81 if it's Scarf again. Life Orb Draco isn't doing much more than um, the Dark Pulse from Scarf, so he could live it in theory and regenerate up a little bit, but I don't know if that's worth it unless it's a dedicated Wish Clef from Raiza. So if he's Focus Blast, I don't even know if he's going to go for it here. He might just go out to Clefable. The issue with going to Clefable, of course, is that if he U-turns. Of course, staying in doesn't do it. Yeah, he stays in on the U-turn. Okay, good play there from Raiza. U-turn is going to do well under a third, so he can always regenerate it off. And also now he's going to be able to get what's likely to be a Focus Blast or Signal Beam off. I'm assuming the Corviknight is going to come in here. However, it could be the Clefable. He goes to the Clefable, which is smart, because, yeah, okay. Now, if you want Corviknight, that would have been really good for Raiza, because it would out-damage Roost as well. So that's a great scout there from the Typhlosion48 side. And it looks as if this Reuniclus really isn't going to be much of a threat, seeing as it's Psychic over Psy Shock. So you can't really do well over like 30% or so to the Clefable. Um, so I'd say that Typhlosion doesn't really mind this. And finally, the Reuniclus is going to get Thunder Waved as it's going to full para, and Future Sight's going to kick in and do 34%, which is going to put it just above half health. This is going to allow the X-Drill to come in as Clefable goes for Softball. However, the X-Drill can't really do a ton here, as there's a Corviknight in the back. So I wonder if Rise is going to try and double switch out. The thing is, this team doesn't really have much that could directly pressure a Corviknight besides Hydreigon. Now, what could really open the game up for Raiza here is if we were to go Hydreigon on the Corviknight and then go for a Nasty Plot as Clefable comes right back in, and or Modest Hydreigon. As Modest Hydreigon has a good chance of killing with a +2 Flash Cannon. And honestly, I think that's the best set. The thing is that Raiza's team still, even with the Assault Vest Reuniclus, is not superb against opposing Rotom Heat. So I'm more inclined to believe it'd be a timid Nasty Plot Hydreigon if it even is a Nasty Plot variant. But we'll have to wait and see here. As Hydreigon comes in while Raiza doubles Clefable, which is a really good play from Raiza, as he gets Clefable in on a U-turn. And now I assume he's probably going to go for a Teleport or a Wish here. The only thing you really need to heal up is those for your Nicholas, and even that's close to fall. So maybe he just goes for Teleport. No, he goes for Flamethrower. Oh, so he's actually a Life Orb Calm Mind variant. So that's a way of making progress as well. Basically, if the Gengar and the Rotom Heat were to take chip, then this Clefable would do quite well in this matchup. However, I don't think he wants to pursue this immediately, as he's not only going to lose Life Orb, but also is potentially getting Thunder Wave, which means that Gengar could continuously sub up on it, and so on and so forth. However, if he gets more than 2 or 3 Calm Minds, then the game could just get out of hand really quickly. So he gets a second Calm Mind there, and all of a sudden this does look dangerous. However, a Nasty Plot Rotom Heat could potentially come in and try to 1v1 it. It's going to probably need some paralysis to do so, but at worst it could also leave it low, and if it's pain split, then I'm pretty confident in it winning the 1v1, or at least putting it to where Hex Gengar could take it out, or Corviknight with Brave Bird / Iron could take it out as well. Anyway, the +2 Moonblast in the Rotom Heat is going to do 31% and get a special attack drop, so it's a really good start to the 1v1 for Raiza, as he predicted that switch there perhaps. However, Nasty Plot here will still put it at +1 attack, and he's going to get multiple chances to Nasty Plot. This follow-up Moonblast is 33, but it's very likely not a roll to kill, and it is Pain Split in fact, so that's not great for Raiza, especially as the Pain Split happens on a full paralysis, so all of a sudden the +1 Rotom Heat is quite healthy, and the Clefable is actually chipped substantially, so I'm not sure what Raiza's play here is. He might want to pursue a 1v1 just he's committed already, but I feel as if going for Calm Mind as is at that point was not worthwhile. I think he should have went Ferrothorn and tried to claim some chip on things, or he powered on and tried to get rocks up, beta things around. Discharge says only 19% as Soft Build comes out from Raiza. Okay, so it's promising there. He's going to go Hydreigon here predicting a Nasty Plot, and he's going to get that right. However, well, this Rotom doesn't have to be quicker than Togekiss because he's got a Gengar in the back in theory, although I still like that extra comfort of being quicker, especially on a Pain Split variant. Just because being quicker, Pain Split can go a long way in the Rotom Heat mirrors. So I'm interested to see how that will turn out. But I'm assuming this is Life Orb Hydreigon from Raiza, seeing he's got Drill and Sand. I just don't think he needs extra speed control, so I think either way, even if it's not Scarf and Life Orb, then he's probably just going to be scared of Life Orb. Oh, and Raiza makes a really good play going for Flash Cannon, predicting the Clefable there, and he's going to nail that with the Flash Cannon. That was great. I think that the play for Typhlosion there was actually to go to the Corviknight, because Draco or Flash Cannon was always the play. Is Raiza going to take advantage of Nasty Plot? No, he's just going to go for a safe Flash Cannon here. But that's completely okay. He's still at 81%, and this is in Flamethrower range for sure. My question here now is, are we going to see Typhlosion go to its own Hydreigon here, predicting a Draco, or is he just going to let go of the Corviknight? If he lets go of the Corviknight, then that's going to open up a huge advantage for Raiza on the hazard side. So I think that Typhlosion has to tread this water very carefully, and that's one of the great things about Life Orb Hydreigon. Even without Wish Support, it's able to push the issue on opposing teams quite well. He's going to go Side Splinter here on the Flamethrower, but a critical hit's going to do 32%, which means it's easily in Draco range. In fact, it might have been a roll to be in Draco range regardless of that fact. So I'm wondering if we're going to see this be foddered off, or if he's just going to go Corviknight, try and bait the -2, and then just stay barely alive so he can heal up on Hippowdon. He's actually going to go Clefable on that Draco, which is a bit weird seeing as we know it's in Flash Cannon range. It doesn't recover at all from Life Orb. The thing is that's good for Typhlosion is, he's going to go Hydreigon here on that Flash Cannon. And everything's taking a little chip, but now this Hydreigon's at 61%, which means it can't really take a hit from Gengar or multiple hits from Rotom. And Seismitoad, Scald, or Toxic can go a long way as well. So the Hydreigon isn't as potent without Wish Support, just because it's limited in getting in already without Teleport Boost, but also it's limited in how many hits you can fire out, just because you can only do so much. And seeing as it's kind of eased to be prediction heavy, that's kind of why Hydreigon's a bit more in the really good category as opposed to something that's like outright broken in my eyes, because there aren't really any hard counters to it besides like random specially defensive Primarina. And we're going to see Fire Blast from the Hydreigon on Typhlosion side, and not only is it going to connect, it's also going to burn the Hippowdon, which is really unfortunate for Raiza. It is leftovers, but still not great. I still think that Raiza has a decent position here, but that burn's going to slow him down quite a bit. He's going to double the Hydreigon here into Gengar. I think that was a bad play. I think he should have slacked off. He's going to go Renickles here, and he looks like he's in a really bad spot against this Gengar. Yeah, and it's going to go sub, so it's going to be able to Hex this, and it probably kills seeing as the Assault Vest is knocked off. So, yep, it takes that out. So I just don't really know why Raiza elected to switch to Hippowdon out. Earthquake would really threaten this. Anyway, he's going to go Ferrothorn here. It's going to have to take a Wisp, but they can almost definitely break this sub with a knockoff. But now all of a sudden the game looks really favorable for Typhlosion, and that does make sense as the Gengar matchup was pretty favorable from the get-go. So yeah, knockoff here. So it gets the Hex off, but the substitute breaks simultaneously. And I think the Gengar would be okay to pursue this 1v1, as it should to cure the Ferrothorn. However, if he doesn't want to take knock, as then that'll mean he'll be taking repeated sand damage and whatnot, then it would be fair to play it differently. He goes sub here on that knock. Okay, I don't think that was a play that made any sense at all, but not going to kill him here. Now Clefable comes in on the follow-up knock. And now Clefable's going to be able to softball up, so that's really good for the Raiza side. However, the Corv Knight's at 41%, so maybe a lucky X-Drill could do the trick. The thing is that the Rotom Heat is very healthy. Oh, so we're going to see Spikes here. I don't know about that. Spikes only really impact 2 Pokemon, and I don't think they're the Pokemon that you really need shift here. As so long as the Gengar is alive, it's quite potent. You can see Raiza bring back his own Clefable, and it did get a bit of chip on the Gengar, so that helps open up. But the thing is that so long as the Rotom Heat's alive, it can't really do a ton, unfortunately. I wonder if he's going to go hard Hydreigon here. I think that would be an okay play. The issue is Moonblast, yeah. So I think going for one Combine, then one Softball, then hard Hydreigon, potentially against Rotom Heat would make a lot more sense. So there's a smart Moonblast there. It chips it, and also now if this gets fully paralyzed, then things look really good for the Rotom Heat. To come in, nasty plot up, and really force the issue on his hand. Um, you gotta wonder. I think Typhlosion is a really big advantage at this point. I don't know if there's really a way out for Raiza. Um, so long as the Gengar isn't randomly thrown away, that could be bad. Admittedly, the Gengar doesn't come in a ton. Earthquake from Hippowdon obviously threatens it despite the burn. Clefable can go for flamethrowers, which will do a decent chunk, but also a +1 special attack. It's even more threatening. Hydreigon and Flare Thorn obviously threaten in their own way. Knockoff and a whole slew of special attacks, and X-Drill can just kill it in one with either stab move in all likelihood. So the Gengar's ability to come in is kind of limited at the moment, but since he's got burns on some things, that goes a long way. Status negating damage can really help open things up for Gengar, that's for sure. But Typhlosion takes his time, but ultimately makes the clear-cut play of going to Rotom Heat. And thankfully for Raiza, Fable does not paralyze here. Um, Honestly, that burn really turned things around for Typhlosion in my eyes because it gave Gengar an opening. Now, I don't really agree with Raiza's immediate response of going Nicholas, but that aside, Raiza does make the good play and go outside Dragon onto that nasty plot there. So this could potentially pose a major threat here. The thing is that it revealed it was timid before, but Clefable isn't at full, so Flash Cancel so it kills it. Personally, um, oh, personally, I go nasty plot here. He goes for root, which root, roost. So it's not nasty plot. That's that's bizarre. I don't think this is a good set at all. Um, I'm not a fan of this. He goes for flamethrower into the clef. Good play there from Typhlosion. A bit of foresight. Now just gonna invite in Excadrill, and the Corv Knight's at 41%. So if he goes for a Swords Dance here, he just needs one flinch to potentially really break through. However, the Rotom Heat's there, so Rotom Heat walls a non-mold breaker Excadrill, assuming it's not Rock Slide. And of course, we don't even know if this Swords Dance again. It could be toxic. Oh my God, he goes Hydreigon on the Moonblast. That was a really poor play actually from Typhlosion. I don't know why he risked that at all. I don't think this was a physically defensive Clefable, given Flash Cannon damage before. Unless it's a weird Hydreigon spread, and if this dies to Iron Head or takes like 90% from Iron Head, then all of a sudden Hydreigon becomes a massive threat. I guess you could argue that he's never going for Iron Head there. He could go for Swords Dance, not Iron Head, but yeah, I don't really support that play at all. Given the position Typhlosion was in, he just really didn't lose, no matter what. So long as he got something like this. So I mean, whatever, it worked, so I can't really be too critical, but I gotta say, I think that was a really bad idea. And it just happened to work because Raiza was trying to catch up some ground, but the risk was not worth the reward. But it paid off there for Typhlosion, so hey, well played there. Um, and now it's 1-0. Typhlosion is able to emerge victorious in the SS game, but we still have SM and ORAS to go. Typhlosion did play some SM, I believe, in stores like OLT, so there's some promise there, but I don't really know how long he's been around. I don't know if he knows ORAS, so going to be interesting to see what he comes up with there. Going to also be interesting to see what Raiza comes up with in these tiers. So we'll hold up and we'll see what happens. Any moment, really. I'm going to pause until the next game starts, though. Yeah. Hey guys, we're back for game two. It's looking like some pretty interesting teams here. Typhlosion, again, a pretty standard team. This time around, he's the one using sand. Actually, both are using sand. I take that back. But Typhlosion in particular is sand with um, Slowbro, Tyranitar, of course, Rotom, Wash, Heatran, Excadrill, and Ferrothorn. So it looks like a pretty solid team, all things considered. On the other side, Raiza has Superior, Charizard, Tyranitar, Excadrill, Clefable, and Rotom Wash Rizal. So both teams have a bit of an interesting balance, fire, water, grass, court, but more offensive on Rise's end of the spectrum. I'm thinking that Zard's probably going to be Zard Y, and Zard Y does look pretty good if it's able to hit some Focus Blast, of course. However, getting a Solar Beam off into Rotom Wash looks like a challenge due to the presence of Tyranitar on Typhlosion team. So if he's able to land a Focus Blast on Tyranitar early on, that could go a long way. Of course, there's also Heatran, so he's got to be really precise with that Zard. Moreover, the Clefable for Raiza, if it's Flamethrower, it does really well against everything but the Heatran. But if it's not, then Knock is probably the best set just to chip things. So we're going to see if he has Knock off here. No, he just goes for Rocks. So it's probably going to be like Rocks plus Thunderwave plus Moonblaster, Flamethrower plus Softball if I had to guess. Which would set up for a sub plus Leech Seed Superior. Um, Subseed Syrup could actually chip the Heatran quite nicely, especially if it's paralyzed. So that could go a long way here. Getting in that Superior on something like the Rotom Wash or the Clefable, so long as it's not status. And he's going to go for the Thunder Wave on the Rocks. Now both sides have Rocks up. A bit better for Typhlosion, of course, as the Zard is present on Rise's team. Um, Drill only really safely spins on, well, nothing. So, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good part of the matchup for Typhlosion. However, if it's indeed Subseed on the Superior, then I think that favors Raiza, unless this is like a Roar or Taunt Heatran. Um, I don't think he needs taunt because he's got drill and potential combined Mega Slowbro. I don't think it's Mega Transfer. I'm pretty sure it's Mega Slowbro for the Typhlosion side. So yeah, one thing I'm not too fond of on teams like Typhlosions is personally I'd like to try and fit something that at least checks like Nasty Plot Thunderous because we see Sticky Webs too much, and this team just outright loses to it, which sucks. And we're going to see a full process here as the Tyranitar comes in. So it's really good for the Ryza side. Um, Yeah, so Ryza gets the transfer for free and potentially go for pursuit. So that's something. I'm gonna have to wait and see if he elects to go for that though. Um, hmm. Um, gonna see the Rotom that double in. Perhaps fearful of a protect or something. I'm not really sure why the Rotom came in there honestly. I think Tyranitar firing off an attack was in the best interest of Ryza, even if it was just a crunch or a stone edge. But I digress. He knows his team best. He gets a wisp off into that Ferrothorn, which is great. As Power Up's going to be shrugged off for just 31%, revealing that it's probably a bit of a more physically defensive oriented Rotom there. Um, hmm. Um, I don't think he's going to want to risk the Superior taking a knockoff quite yet. However, um, hmm. All right, Volt switches to play there. Um, He's gonna actually just go drill here, which is smart. As now against the burnt fire thorn, you should be able to spin. Kind of a black and white technique. Burning fire with red early and then getting the drill and then just spin. However, it still takes 29 from the power whip. The thing is that the fire thorn is taking a lot of damage each turn. It likely isn't leech seed. So, despite the drill taking that damage, it still has leftovers to recover repeatedly. And on top of that, it also doesn't have to stay in a ton. He goes to Charizard here actually, um, and Rotom comes in here for the Typhlosion side. I'd have to imagine that if Ryza stays in, he goes for Focus Blast and not Solar Beam. Going Solar Beam here is so risky. I also think that Typhlosion might just stay in Volt Switch, but honestly, changing Volt Switch for Focus Blast damage isn't the end of the world there for Ryza. just because that puts it into range for something like extra drill after a while, maybe. We'll wait and see. He's going to go superior on that Volt switching. He's going to take 19%. That perhaps reveals some special attack investment on that Rotom Wash, as that's a lot of damage. He's probably also going to go to Heatran here instead of Rocks of his own. I wonder if we're going to see the Zard come in predicting the Rocks or the Fire move, or if we're going to see a bit more of a conservative play, such as getting in the Tyranitar. Yeah, he goes Tyranitar into Rocks. Okay. I wonder if he's going to stand and attack. No, he's going to. Oh, he's superpowered on the Protect, but the Protect was failed due to the paralysis. That's a really big turn there for Raiza. As another superior looks great. Um, so I said that Raiza is favored here pretty heavily at this point. Of course, he's still going to press to get a spin off. I wonder if he's going to try and going for double to drill here, knowing that something like the Rotom or no, that wouldn't work. He could double the Serpent though. Yeah, I would double the syrup here personally because one of the water types is coming in almost definitely. Um, we'll wait and see. He's gonna go slow, bro. As yeah, no. He's just gonna go for the safe superpower. I'm not fond of that play at all by Raiza. I think that was really passive. There was no way that he's gonna let the train die. But I get in this position, you don't really need to risk anything. So fair enough. Hmm. I do think that Protect was maybe a little greedy, but I get he was scared of Crunch. The thing with Typh's team is that he does really have a great switch into Crunch with Superpower. So, um, he's going to go Clefable on the Slowbro, and Drill's going to come in. It's a really good play there from Typhlosion. Calling that right. Um, so he's finally been able to remove the rocks with this Clefable set, but if it's a Flamethrower Clef, he could go for Flame here just to chip it and scout damage, see if it's a bulkier drill or not. I'm thinking it's more offensive though at the moment. And that exact scenario is going to happen. It's going to do 50%, so it's a more offensive drill indeed. Um, hmm. Um, she's gonna go for a rock slide. Interesting. I did not anticipate a rock slide, but that's actually pretty good in this match because it hits Zard and it hits Rotom. But Rotom is more likely than not just gonna go for a pain split here, and it should work against anything besides Heatran. I wonder if we're gonna see extra fish for a flinch here. That would be interesting. So we're gonna have to see a Volt Switch here from Raiza after the Pain Split and the Ferrothorn. And that's gonna bring in the Drill, and it's gonna dodge a Leech Seed, which is really good for Raiza there, as he's gonna keep this Drill healthy. And I imagine he's gonna go for a spin into the Rotom W. Um, um, it's been doing 9%. Yeah, I think that's an offensive Rotom W. And as we see from that Hydro Pump damage, 41% to a probably specially defensive invested Clef. Yeah, it's a bit more of an offensive Rotom W, which complements Slowbro quite nicely because one threatens for the other walls for the other, kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. Um, I wonder if this Hydro Pump would be able to 2-hit KO physically defensive variant. 28 from Voltage. I mean, that's just not even being shrugged off. And I wonder if he's going to go for the Rocks trade or if he's going to try to go Tyranitar or what. I think I just go for Rocks here from Raiza. Very little drawback. In theory, he could go Rotom. His Rotom actually is quite nice in this match, but at this point with the Parathorn being so low, but the issue is if Rotom has to take a Toxic, that's less than ideal. Um, I think I go Rocks here. Yeah, I don't mind giving it some leftovers. Well, we're going to get Rocks on the full paralysis, so even better. Rise is just making even more progress here, and I'd say this is really favorable for him at this point. He's going to go Zard here on the Rocks, okay, and he's going to get that Mega off in, I think he's gonna go for a focus blast. If he's real crazy, he goes solo beam and a Slowbro. But I don't think that's it. I think focus blast is the play. I think Slowbro's the play. Yeah, he's gonna go Slowbro. Is it gonna be called? Oh my god, he goes for the slow beam predicting that. What a great play there from Raiza. That was phenomenal. Probably the best play of the series this far from Raiza. I really like that play. And now he's got a huge advantage at this point. And honestly, he didn't risk a ton. His worst case is 6 Toxic. This isn't your main breaker anyway. And to do that, you're risking the Heatran's life. And if the Heatran dies in Superior, pretty much just wins. Yeah, this is a good play from Typhlosion, but in Sun, Flamethrower kills this. So I think this is fine for Raiza to just stand and click Flamethrower. And we're probably going to see the Heatran come in if Typhlosion isn't getting greedy. And yeah, Heatran comes in here. So even if that double looked favorable for Typhlosion, it actually wasn't. But the following turn is he gets this in. Now he's got a Flash Fire Heatran and Sun. So Transfer is going to come in to stop it. If this takes a status, that could be really big. But it's going to be fully paralyzed. And that's just so unfortunate for Typhlosion. As this team is kind of getting out of control for Raiza. For Typhlosion, rather. I don't know if he's going to be able to come back here. We're going to see to protect them, another superpower, and then Rotom W comes in. It's going to take a critical hit superpower, takes it out, and I think 2 might have killed, seeing it's an offensive Rotom W. If I'm Raiza here, by the way, I just stand and click superpower again, as it should kill, and pressures the spin. You don't really need the tie for anything, but superpower does hit everything left super effectively, so like if you switch out, I get it. But yeah, this looks very favorable for Raiza at this point in time. I don't see a way in which he loses it. I think you just superpower if you Raiza, really. I mean, Sand being up doesn't really help you a ton, as it just lets it. It's just is a catalyst for his drill. Um, he goes superior. Okay, I mean at this point you don't really need this win condition with both waters gone. The benefits of its positive matchup are just kind of negated, so that's fair. But it honestly did kind of just win from a certain point with Subseed. And now Rockslide's going to take this out. Okay, Sand is going to run out here, and now we're going to see Raiza probably go to the Rotom W and fire off a Hydro Pump, which should be able to kill the Fire Thorn with Hydro Pump plus either another Hydro Pump or a Volt Switch after the burn damage. If it doesn't even kill it to begin with. Really depends on spreads. And all 4 Pokemon left on Typhlosion's team are weak to Hydro Pump, they're weak to Focus Blast, they're weak to Superpowered. 2 of them are weak to Flamethrower, and the other one probably can't break the Clef if it's a Scarf variant, which I predict it to be in this team. So yeah, I say this is a pretty favorable position for Raiza in this game. I don't really see a way in which he loses this, barring repeated outplaying and potential misplays from Raiza's side. But of course, the game has to be played after all, so let's see what comes. We're going to see Rockside. Is it going to flinch? No, it's not going to flinch. Hydro Pump's going to connect through. And yeah, he would have needed multiple of those flinches, plus hitting his own Rock Slides multiple times just have a shot. So Typhlosion's just going to wave the white flag. So it's another game that was kind of lopsided at the end. A 5-0 victory for Raiza here after Typhlosion 08 took game 1 6-0 in SS. So now it's going to come down to an SM game 3. So I'm going to pause, and I'm going to bring this right back to you guys once that game 3 starts. So I hope you guys are enjoying this so far, but we got one more game to decide the set and the outcome of both players in this tiebreak series. Hey guys, what's up? We're back for game 3. Rise using some classic Italian fat shit, and Typhlosion just using some good double ground offense. Um, so yeah, we got Magnezone, Chansey, Gliscor, Kartana, Slowbro, and Jirachi for Raiza. Sorry, something weird was happening to my computer. Should be kind of fixed now. Yeah, okay. And as for Typhlosion, we got Landorus, Heatran, Rotom Wash, Tapu Bulu, Mega Mawile, and Garchomp. Looking at the teams, I think it's probably a Z Kartana for Raiza with like Synth, Scarf, Magnezone, Stealth Rock, probably on that Chansey. Um, could be Defog or Swords Dance Gliscor, Wish Jirachi, and probably just a pivot Slowbro. Likely going to be Mega Slowbro, in fact, which is quite good here against Mawile in both ground types. As for Typhlosion, probably going to be Z-Guard Chomp, Mega Mawile. Could be Bulk Up or Banded on Bulu. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a pivot Rotom with lefties or Yappa. Um, Tran is kind of interesting here because if it's Rocks, then I wonder what the chomp is. Could be like sub SD. Um, hard to say. Could just be like Magma Storm leftovers taunt protect kind of set. And last but not least, there's also the Flanders T. Yeah. Hmm. I'd say that the Jirachi not being pressured by anything else is like not really needed for the other Pokemon. It's really nice in checking the Bulu. So that could eat superpowers just by being a Steel type, which is good. Um, I also think that the combination of Mega Slowbro and hmm hmm we're going to see Carton lead against Heatran. I'm wondering if the Heatran's going to be scared out by a prospect of a Bandit or a Z fighting move from the Raiza side. So I think we might see a switch here to something like Landorus T. The question is if Raiza is going to call that and stay in and go for a knockoff, because I don't believe he actually has the Z fighting, or if he's going to go out to something like the Slowbro or the Gliscor. Gliscor does risk a Lava Plume or a Will-O-Wisp, however, so that's kind of nasty. I think that I go Gliscor though. Just because I don't think there's a world where Typhlosion stays in Restless and turn 1. And getting Gliscor in is great, and even if he does, I'm pretty sure this is more likely to be Magma Storm than Lava Plume. And Lava Plume has got a 30% to burn, and you just can't risk losing the Slowbro to a Toxic plus Magma Storm variant. Slowbro is super valuable in this matchup, and you can't risk losing the Chansey to Magma Storm against the Rotom W either, because otherwise Rotom W kind of stomps all over this team. Um, he's going to go Chansey, though, on the rocks. Okay. Interesting. I wonder if he's going to go Gliscor now. I think those are really risky rocks there, but I mean, knowing the sets on Rise's team, what they're likely to be, I think it's fine. So it's a good early play there, lead in early play there from the Typhlosion side. As Rise gets out of the way to Chansey, which could very well go for its own rocks to even things up. However, this gives momentum to Rise's potentially to go for a Magma Storm, go for a Toxic, or switch up something like Mawile or Garchomp. And the fact that it's not rocks on the Garchomp, it's just rocks on the Landorus, really opens things up for what the Garchomp could do. It could potentially be like Swords Dance with Substitute. So all of a sudden, if it comes in on something like the Gliscor, it can't get Toxic, and you gotta Earthquake it. Or if it comes in on the Jirachi, it's even better. However, Gliscor is going to double it here, which is good for the Raiza side. Now we're gonna go hard Slowbro here on the Swords Dance, and I wonder if he's gonna go. He's gonna be forced to Mega Evolve and go for Ice Beam here, if he happens to have it. So this will be interesting to see. Um, hmm. Um, I think that he's kind of forced to Mega Evolve here. I just wonder if Typhlosion is gonna switch out. If I'm Typhlosion here, I try to bait that and go hard Rotom, but it's hard to say. Um, Another good play for Ryza here, because there's no way he goes for Earthquake. He either goes for another Swords Dance, or he goes for a Z. A good play could be going to Kartana, because it would live a +2Z. He's going to stand, he's going to lift the Devastating Drake over the Ice Beam and take it out. So now the Slowbro is pretty much taken out, though, because it's Mega, so no Regenerator, and it's only at 5% with Rock Slip. So I'd say that was actually a fine trade for Typhlosion. That was a good play, though, from Raiza to capitalize on the predicted Z Dragon, because it just makes the most sense in this team. Um, and go for that Ice Beam. But Rotom W is going to come in, try and capitalize on this. I would go Gliscor here if I was Raiza personally. I think Hydro Pump's more likely than not coming out, trying to catch that. So I personally go Chansey here. He chooses to go through Volt Switch. Then you get Chip on it and you're forced right back out. But you can always fodder the Slowbro, and if you fodder the Slowbro, then you can go Magna Zone on that Mawile. He goes Jirachi though. I'm shocked. On the Volt Switch. Okay, so he lets Jirachi take some chip. That's fine because, I mean, honestly, it's really only there for Hulu at this point. And Landorus comes on in. Now, if this is to protect Jirachi, this is almost definitely going to be a Scarf Landorus. So, it should be able to scout the move that it locks into. And he's going to go for Protect on the U-turn. And now, personally, if I'm Raiza, I stand here and I wish. Um, And yeah, he's going to stay in, and I'd assume Wish could be Body Slam, though, but I think Rotom's coming in here, so... Goes Heatran. On the Body Slam. Takes 5%. No Para, though, so it's just me to get my leftovers, so that didn't really help a ton there. I imagine we're just going to see Protect here from Raiza. However, going hard Gliscor would make some sense as well, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this is pretty tense. We're going to see the Protect here. And the Magma Storm. Okay. Um, so we know it's Magma Storm. But Gliscor should be able to come in and check it pretty freely, if I had to guess, so that's good. Isn't that Z? Not Hidden Power Ice in all likelihood. Even though Hidden Power Ice, you live it and just roost it up anyway. So, yeah. Hmm. Both players taking their time here, but I think ultimately the play for Raiza is to go Gliscor, and ultimately the play for Typhlosion is to go to Rotom. They'll be predicting that. But instead he lets go of the Slowbro here. I really disagree with that timing. Because, yeah, I mean, he couldn't even take advantage of it. I feel like firing off the Slowbro would have been better off against something like that Mawile. So then you could get in the Magna Zone. I feel like blowing that load as he did was really not ideal. Although this does give him a chance to go Kartana and potentially get a defog off if he has defog on that. Again, we don't know the sets quite yet, but he's going to go to Kartana. Um, Personally, if I'm Typhlosion here, I think I just go back to Heatran, seeing his turn 1-1 as it did. He knows he can't kill it in one hit. And I don't think Sacred Sword's ever to play here with the Landorus being at full, the Mawile having Intimidate, and the Bulu being alive, and the Rowan W being in front of you. So I don't think he's ever gone for Sacred Sword here. Now, Raiza might have knockoff on that Kartana, and if so, then that could go a long way in eventually checking the Heatran. The thing is that with Grassy Train healing it eventually, that could also kind of negate any and all progress. For example, shrugging off Body Slams from Jirachi can easily be done with Grassy Train, but in the long haul, it can't be done so well without it if leftovers are knocked off. We're going to see the defog here as he stays in and goes for the Thunder Wave. That was a really, really bad play by. No, I take it back. I forgot the Bulu was alive. The Bulu should be able to check any Sword Stance Gliscor if this is defog. So it's actually a really fair play. That was a good play from Typhlosion. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think that's fair. So well done there. I mean, there was no way he was going for the Grass move, in all honesty. So I don't think that was greedy from Raiza, though. I think he had to do that. So yeah, Typhlosion just called him out on that, and both players got something there. But I'd say that the paralysis sticking is a bit better in the long haul, as now this Kartana is virtually useless. Rotom is probably just going to go for a Volt Switch here, as now it can do so if it's quicker, so it also leaves some chip on this Kartana, which is good. But he goes Magnezone on that Volt Switch? I don't know why I didn't just stand and go for like a knockoff. But I digress. The Magnezone comes in and it takes 16% from the Volt Switch for them. That's a very fast offensive Magnezone. It probably doesn't have much HP at all. Um, hmm. So the play here for Typhlosion, he's got two plays here really. One could be just going Landorus and just click U-turn. The other could be going Heatran, just saying, okay, I don't mind taking the Volt Switch as you go to Gliscor, but I think that Landorus is always a better play. And in theory, he also has two plays with Landorus. Going for Earthquake, predicting the stand, and going for U-turn, predicting the switch. I always go for U-turn, just because I have Heatran in the back, I have Bulu in the back. So he actually goes Heatran now, which basically says, okay, I'm fine taking the Volt Switch damage so long as I get my rocks up here, because I believe your Gliscor is in defog. So therefore, I can keep rocks up for a long time because that Kartana is paralyzed. And I think that's fair, especially given how specially defensive this Heatran is. It only takes 26% from Volt Switch, and after leftovers, it's going to be around at 80%, around 80%. So I'd say this is really fair for Typhlosion. I think this is a good play. He's going to get more mileage out of this than otherwise. However, Raiza likes to go Chansey instead of Gliscor. I'm not really sure why he's so hesitant to bring into Gliscor. Perhaps he knows something I don't about the set, but either way, the Chansey could potentially level the playing field with rocks on his own side, but it could risk taking Magma Storm, and if it's Toxic plus Magma Storm, Heatran, then this could actually cripple the Chansey beyond repair, and that makes Rotom W even more annoying, as the Kartana is already paralyzed, the Gliscor can't really do a ton to it, it seems, and the Rotom isn't able to really withstand Hydro Pump, so yeah, Josh would have to come in and take a Wisp, and that would be really bad, because then Bulu would be able to win the game with the paralyzed Cortana and the fact that you'll be able to live one flash cannon if it's a bulkier set, and if it's a more offensive set, then it's just gonna be able to pick you apart anyway. Toxic, unfortunately, for Typhlosion is gonna miss, but I don't think that was a big deal. Um, because he was just gonna go Gliscor right after it anyway. I think the play here for Typhlosion probably is to go for Magma Storm, predicting that. Um, However, he could go Rotom W if he just is like adamant on that without wanting to risk the chance he's staying in. So we'll wait and see. Um, hmm. So waiting here still. Hmm. So we're gonna see the chance to actually stay in and Seismic Toss a couple times as Magma Storm hits, then Toxic hits, then Earth Power hits, and all of a sudden this Chansey's pretty much trading for the Heatran, and it's gonna actually lose the 1v1. Is it? He can get the softball up here, but is that gonna be enough? Because he's still taking 25% from this. Um, I guess he could softball all the way up until the. That's a miss here. That's helpful. Until the Magma Storm runs out of turns. Is that gonna be this turn or next turn? Okay, that's it. Okay, so this actually turned out to be favorable as he's still able to check the road W. But now he's not able to hit from Mawile or Tapu Bulu in all likelihood. So it's not great. Now Gliscor finally comes in. He's going to dodge a Magma Storm. So this has been a really favorable sequence RNG-wise for Raiza, but I don't really think he made a ton of progress, honestly. The Heatran's still healthy. You can't really trap it in one hit. You could easily recover against something like that Jirachi. Um, Bulu's going to come in here. If it comes in on a Toxic, that's really good. Comes in on a Swords Dance. Okay, so it's Swords Dance Gliscor after all. But it's leftovers Bulu. So wait. +4 Gliscor 2 kills anything, I think. So does he go for the side here, predicting a Swords Dance and try to kill it? Does that to a kill? Or does he go for another Swords Dance? Let's wait and see. Does he actually even go Jirachi on the conservative side on the Swords Dance? Okay, I guess. But that invites the Heatran right back in. I can't say I'm fond of that sequencing there. I think he could have pursued that just by seeing what the damage was. He's gonna go for an Iron Head into Heatran. So then Heatran takes rocks, but it's gonna recover from leftovers plus grassy terrain for the next couple turns, and that's really good for the Typhlosion side. I feel like Rise is just kind of having a lot of progress negated here. Um, hmm. You gotta wonder if there's a chance that Ryza wins this game at this point. I think he has to go Gliscor here. If he dodges a Magma Storm, he could go for a Swords Dance. He goes Chansey on the Earth Power? Not sure about that one. Passive Breaking Protect, he didn't want to waste PP. But, like, he goes for the Magma Storm, does 19. Special defense drop, by the way, so that's good. And look, the Heatran's all the way up at 66%. I don't know why he keeps going Chansey on this. Um, but he's going to be paying the price now, taking a lot of residual damage from Toxic, Magma Storm, leftover damage, and also taking Magma Storm for 22% full health here with the special defense drop. So Chansey's just taking tons and tons of damage. It's at 56 now, but the Heatran GC is at 52. Earth Power here on the softball to keep the Chansey alive. Yeah, sure, but at what cost? You're taking all this damage every turn. Yeah, and now you gotta waste all your softballs. It's just like, why bother? It's free. It's basically go and wash here, predicting the Gliscor. And Gliscor, of course, is gonna come in. And now Chansey's weakened, so like if it takes a Volt Switch plus rocks, like shit. And this Rotom hasn't revealed his items, so it's probably Pinch Berry, so I can stay in and take a +2 facade easily as well. But I think he's gonna Volt Switch here. Yeah, I mean, I just feel as if this game is kind of went out of Rise's control. I think you have to go Gliscor a bit more. Enforcing rocks in his Rotom if the chance he is healthy isn't a bad thing at all. As you can potentially get in the +2 facade range, which is around like 50 or 60, and it's not quite pinch berry range, so that could have been played in your favor. He goes for a Swords Dance here on a Thunder Wave. Okay. Now Facade should Tokyo and you should live a Hydra, so this is good. So you caught a little break there. Um, I think you just go for the Facade here. Um, he goes for the Facade. Oh, and it just does enough to put him in barrier range. That sucks. Okay, but wait. Hydro Pump does 75 there. He could roost it off. Um, it's a bit of miss. He's probably got two chances to dodge a Hydro Pump if he really wants to go that way. He goes for the roost there on the Hydro Pump that connects. Does oh does 87 with a crit, and it looks like Typhlosion47 is going to win this in a really lopsided affair. Um, that sucks. Um, hmm. Okay, yeah. I mean, at this point, Leaf Blade, it's great to get some chip on the Landers. It's probably bulky Scarf Landers, given that damage. Yeah, and that. Ah, well, that's rough. But yeah, I don't see a way out for Raiza at this point. He wasn't in a favorable position to begin with, but yeah, he really needs to win that 1v1. I don't think a plus. Would a +4 Facade have killed that? That's at 65. I mean, it was at 87, so it probably would have been a roll if even. So yeah, I don't really know if there's the right play there, but it being put into the barrier range really sucked for Raiza. In all honesty, I just see to 73%, so it's just barely put into the barrier range. I wonder if it was rolls or something, but yeah, it looks pretty much out of range for Raiza at this point. As the Mawa comes in, it could pose a massive threat. I'd imagine he just goes for a knockoff here if he has it. Otherwise, play it off Fire Fang, all fair game. Well, the chance he's finally at full, something is taking damage here. And anything taking damage is really good. His Landers could be able to clean me out the game. As for Sword Stance here, okay. Um, Sucker Punch here on the Wish, sure. Protect here on a knockoff, okay. He's gonna get every single turn right and then some. I think I ironed it here just predicting the knockoff because you're at full, so like you're not gonna get flinched out, are you? He goes through, okay, yeah. And that'll do it. So Typhlosion48 is gonna emerge victorious in this best of three. All three games were fairly lopsided with SM going to Raiza and SS going Oras going to Raiza and SS and SM going to Typhlosion08, which makes sense seeing as he's been around more for those generations. So yeah, good games, well played by Typhlosion08 and Raiza. Interesting series, unfortunately not the closest games, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.